So back when this meme was going around on Twitter, I wrote this one for Jack Skellington, and then I forgot that I wrote it, and now it's too late for anyone to appreciate it.
You don't want to get mixed up with a guy like me. I'm a loner. A rebel.
Let's see what the damage is, shall we?
Jack Skellington is the extremely flawed protagonist of Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. He is dramatic, recklessly impulsive, often oblivious to anything outside of his own personal turmoil, hyper-focuses on ideas and emotions, forging ahead with single-minded determination and the absolute best of intentions, and hearing only what he wants to hear. Basically, there was no way my ADHD brain ever stood a chance, because it me. Every year, I understand Jack's dilemma a little more personally. I've gone from merely recognizing my own double-edged attributes and identifying with the general sense of emptiness and longing, to really understanding the pressure he feels from being in the spotlight. Albeit a small and largely devoted one, but a spotlight nonetheless. I've always liked Jack Skellington, but I can understand why other people might not. Every trait I just mentioned can be exhausting to deal with, especially if you're the Sally in that situation. But regardless of how you might feel about him, The Nightmare Before Christmas does teach a great lesson. Not to emulate Jack, but how to navigate two of the most common pitfalls of being an artist: fatigue and failure. It's Jack's public persona we're first introduced to. The Pumpkin King, the beloved leader of Halloween Town, and the star of the town's annual holiday celebration. Everyone is thrilled by this year's festivities, with adoring townsfolk practically falling at Jack's feet in awe. With the exception of Oogie Boogie, who is not even mentioned in the first half of this film, there is not a single person in Halloween Town who doesn't love and support Jack, almost unconditionally. They pose no threat to him, but enough attention of any kind can be overwhelming, and it reaches a point where Jack is clearly uncomfortable by it. He manages to slip away, and when he's alone, at least he thinks he is, the facade is peeled back. We learn that his discomfort isn't because he's shy, but because he feels the praise is unearned.
Nice work, Bone Daddy.
Yeah, I guess so.
He's been doing the same Pumpkin King routine for as long as he can remember, and it's left him miserable and unfulfilled. He knows he can do better, that he has done better, and he knows there was a time when he was not only great, but complete.
There's an empty place in my bones that calls out for something unknown.
Side note, Jack is so achingly sincere about his emotions, it's just gut-wrenching. Danny Elfman just wrecks me every time with this soundtrack. Ugh! What Jack is experiencing is burnout, when you work yourself too hard or in the same way for too long. You might still be able to produce work, but it doesn't bring you the same joy, and you know it's not as good as what you're capable of. Jack is specifically feeling creative burnout, but it happens in all kinds of work. And the scary thing is that it's unavoidable, especially for those who create for the public's consumption. Regardless of how reverent that public is, sure, you might be able to take preventative measures sometimes, but every artist will burn out eventually. Maybe you'll get lucky and it'll only happen once, but that's unlikely. And no amount of fame, success, or support can stop it. But why does Jack's burnout even matter since he rebounds in the very next musical number? Stumbling into Christmas Town, he's bowled over by the glittering lights and Rankin Bass kitschiness. Everything is bright and teeming with life and spirit, and Jack is ecstatic and fascinated by all of it. It even makes him forget how empty he's been feeling. He's happy and warm and alive, in a manner of speaking, so that must mean his burnout is cured, right? Right? Burnout is linked to your emotional state, but just because you're excited about something else doesn't mean you can't still be burnt out creatively. People quite often feel more than one thing at a time. For example, in regards to Christopher Lee, I would, as you say, hit that pretty much any time in his career. But I also feel respectful of the fact that given he and his wife were married for more than 50 years, he probably, definitely, absolutely would have turned me down. And that's okay. We contain multitudes. But getting back to Jack, I think Jack's real breakthrough isn't until the end of Poor Jack, when he expresses,
"'Cause I've got some new ideas.
So, what do we learn from that? Well, we can be flippant and say that there isn't anything, that this is only happening because it's about time we get to the third act, and Jack clearly hasn't gone through any real growth. I mean, come on. Just a minute ago, he expressed a childishly dramatic desire to
Find a deep cave to hide in.
because of his mistakes. But isn't that what we all want to do when we fail? And none of us are going to fail as spectacularly as Jack does. Hopefully. Jack does not face minor consequences for this. He's nearly blown to smithereens, realizes that he's the villain in the eyes of the people he was trying to help, surrounded by the flaming debris of months of work that ultimately came to nothing, and he's forced to confront every bit of humiliation and despair and hopelessness that comes with such an experience. It's a worse place than where he started. We're so often told that if you just want something enough, if you try hard enough, that you can have it. But it's not true. Sometimes your best isn't enough, and it will never be enough.
Everything's gone all wrong.
What do you do when the weight of your failure crushes you? We are told to never give up on anything, but there is much greater value in knowing when that's exactly what you should do. Sometimes try again means it's okay you failed, but it's time to move on.
Poor old Jack.
That's what Jack learns. Jack's burnout isn't beaten because he leaves the cemetery with the promise to make Christmas even better next year. It's overcome because he knows that being a good Santa Claus wasn't what he needed to do. It was just a short-term distraction from the real problem. And that's when Jack, invigorated by the things he's learned from this defeat, proclaims who he is
Right? I am the Pumpkin King!
and promises to go back home and give his all to his actual job.
I'm really going to give it all my might!
We see that not only is it possible to survive failure, but we see how to do it. Chances are your recovery from burnout or failure won't be as quick and efficient as Jack's, but no one expects that of you. No one expects you to emerge from failure unscathed and unbothered either. The lesson that Jack embodies is that in order to be a better artist, we have to genuinely process our failure, which means confronting the impact of our mistakes, feeling whatever we need to feel, examining what we've learned, getting up, and, if it's appropriate, doing whatever we can to set things right. The Nightmare Before Christmas shows us that creative struggle exists beyond achieving acclaim. It shows us that failure and burnout are inescapable, and if you're not prepared for it, you might find it impossible to recover when it does hit you. We fail time and time again, and we grow tired of every passion, no matter how much we love it. But the film reassures us that neither of these realities have to permanently destroy us. That burnout isn't forever. New places and experiences enrich us, as long as you don't take them too far. Failures can make us better, and that the people who question us can be invaluable. So next time you fail or burn out, or if that's where you're at right now, take some time to heal and watch Jack Skellington fail one more time. You might even find yourself with some new ideas. Thanks for watching.